Return to Glory podcast. Husker strong, baby.
There you go.
2-0. First time since 2016. Hunter Zarbnicki, Austin Rhodes, Dakota Freetag. I have not even set in all the feelings yet. It's just been a whole bunch of emotions since Saturday night. Man, I'm speechless right now.
Feels good.
Let's get off the jump with that was the most fun Husker tailgate / game day I've had.
Yeah.
By a mile. It was fun. Like there wasn't a lot of beef downtown. I mean, Calder fans weren't talking a lot of shit before the game. We were to them, but they weren't saying too much.
That's what you do when you're on the road. You don't say a whole lot while you're surrounded by the enemy.
Dak,
yeah, they tuck their tails.
Were we edgy? Were we not over the top, but were we getting after him a little bit?
Oh yeah.
That was the vibe I got just from talking to you in general, but also in the stadium. Will Compton saw his video that went on right before the tunnel walk like he had in week one. Watching that, I'm like, wow, like they're letting some stuff go, and I love it. Like I love everything about it. And man, did the results show on Saturday. We talked how big of a game it was, guys, on Wednesday. When now was the last time that we've won a game like this, of this magnitude? And I'm saying this because I've already heard the maybe Colorado isn't that good line. Maybe they could go 3-9. Maybe they'll do what they did last year. I get that, and I'm not saying I disagree with that. Just the magnitude and the hype of this game leading up to it, and then us showing up and not only performing, but we didn't beat ourselves up really at all. It was a true, strong, solid performance, what we wanted to see. That, to me, speaks volumes for this team. No matter what we thought, how the second half went, we're going to talk about that. But just the magnitude of the game, showing up, doing what we did in that first half. Whoa. And then getting a win.
Yeah, the first half was absolutely insane. I can't imagine what the crowd was like inside. You couldn't really hear it that well on TV, which was a little disappointing. I was kind of hoping you'd get a little more of that on the TV side, but
gee, I knew that with NBC though. They never have great sound. You wouldn't be able to hear it at all. But it sounded pretty loud.
The commentators were saying that it was really loud in there.
I don't even want to. I'm going to say this once and be done with it for the rest of the episode. Colt McCoy.
Sucks.
That was brutal.
God.
Probably not the game you want to put your guy on first. Like his first time on TV. Like, I don't know why you do a night game with like popular teams for your first game. Like maybe give him a couple reps on some lower level games first.
I feel ashamed that we're even talking about him in the first 10 minutes of this podcast, but I had to say it because it was not good. But I do think you could tell the stadium was rocking as expected. The students were there early, seeing a lot of the pregame stuff was great. Again, nothing that was like over the top, but like Rule said, saving Nebraska nice until Sunday, right? It was well-deserved, well worth it. We did what we needed to do in a big game for the first time in a long time. And Husker Nation, we can say, is happy starting off the year 2-0, first time since 2016. And as of recently, this afternoon, cracking back in the top 25 in both the AP and coaches poll. Whew.
That's scary. I don't know how I feel about being top 25, but
what does that mean? What does that say?
Keep believing you now.
I don't know. Last time we were 25, we went and got rocked. So
it helps that like 21 through 24 all lost.
Right. Yes, I think people aren't doing as well, and then like there is a little bit of a preconceived notion of what a Matt Rule led team does in year 2. And I think that's being applied a little bit to what the expectation is for this year. But I don't know. We'll see.
as you may know, I'm usually not the optimist, or I am always trying to find and nitpick things. I wanted to start off though being very, very positive and enjoying a win like this, because we haven't been able to do it. And just leading up to it, I'm my prediction. I didn't want to think and then get my hopes and my heart stabbed again, like it has time after time after time.
I was so nervous at the start of that. My heart rate is my resting heart rate is 48 beats per minute, which I mean that's resting. But my heart rate was at like 95 at the kickoff, and I was just sitting on the couch watching it.
Oh yeah,
I was
I
so
caught
stressed.
my legs are just like moving back and forth, just sitting there tapping my foot like right before the game started.
Oh my gosh, I was
It,
so
it
stressed.
oh it was so fun. I want to enjoy it, guys. I really do. I don't want to go over the top and now say we're the best team ever and we're playoff bound, but at the same time, I want to enjoy performing well against a opponent that wanted our
I mean,
best shot. Like they beat us 3 times in a row. Like, and our rival, it just for a lot of reasons we should be enjoying this win.
and I mean, they're coming in with two guys who could be top 10 picks, and our defense looked killer against them.
So, just to recap how we're going to do these Sunday or Monday morning released episodes, we're just going to point out key headlines, key topics to talk about, just rotate through them, lead to some good conversation. I want to start there, Austin. You mentioned the defense. I know this is a very broad topic, but as Rural said after the game on Saturday, our entire defense is a star. Like, they showed up against a very, very potent Colorado offense, has shown to do a lot of things. I mean, Dak, you said it. Start with you. I mean, you said it. You thought game was going to be in the 30s, a
Yeah.
shootout. I didn't
Yep.
want it to be. I was hoping it wouldn't. It didn't get there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna get off the jump here and say the first half, I watched every single play, so I'm good scout on that. Second half, some outside factors made it a little spotty. So that second half part, you guys are gonna have to carry on me here. But
Thanks.
but
You didn't
but
miss.
Colorado's offensive line looks like shit. I mean, that Nebraska D line looks really good too, but Shador had no time at all.
Oh, we were getting
and
so
man,
much
he really
pressure with just 3 or 4 guys. Like
and he
there was a
threw him
guy in
under the bus.
yeah, there was a guy in the backfield almost every play that first half with
Yeah.
3 or 4 guys rushing.
Like, from the get-go,
Yes.
it was.
I mean, we sacked him on the
whoa.
very first play, didn't we? Or was it the second play?
I mean, they went 3 and out, and we might have got him twice even. I think we ended up with 6 sacks on the day, 4 in the
Which
first
felt
half.
low.
It felt low. We were on him constantly.
How many hits?
I don't have the number, but it was impressive. And guys, a lot of that we talked on Wednesday about, would we have to blitz him? We didn't blitz at all against UTEP, 0 times. We did this a lot with just our 4-man front. And then when we did bring a blitz package and did bring a little bit of confusion, it went untouched a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a masterpiece by Tony White and this defensive staff. And especially up front, we'll talk a lot about Ty. There's a lot of chatter about Ty. Guys, our up front could be real. And you need a solid front 7 defense in the Big Ten, especially against the traditional Big Ten teams. But now these new ones, like, it's going to give you an advantage. And playing against Colorado, we made them look like high schoolers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there were a couple plays where, I mean, Travis Hunter got his yards, which kind of to be expected, but that was really the only guy Shador could get the ball to is Travis Hunter.
But how many big plays from Travis Hunter? There weren't many.
Maybe one. No. I don't even know what his long was.
I looked at his stats though. I didn't think he was that crazy, but his stats are pretty good.
No plays over 30 yards.
And guys, that's what we talked about though with him. It was a quiet whatever yards. We knew he was going to get his yards and catches. we knew that Shador was going to throw him the ball. Thankfully, nothing was like memorable, and we were there on the catch, and we did not let receivers 2 and 3 get going at all. Like Jimmy Horn was a non-factor besides the one kickoff return early in the game. We we contained a very explosive, at least from a skill position standpoint. We contained their offense very well, and like I said, you appreciate Tony White. I I thought of this on the way down to my trip this weekend, and then I had the thought again, like, do we want our defense playing like so good? Because we just paid Tony White more.
He's leaving. Tony's gone after this year.
You know what I mean? Maybe we want a little fluff at the end of the games to make us look maybe not as good defensively, so we can keep him around.
No, Tony's gone. Honestly, the most. I go for it, Dak.
Oh, I was gonna say, he's for sure going to go head coach somewhere. He's gone.
I honestly think one of the most satisfying things about the defense was the 4th down. Like they couldn't get a freaking yard. It's like, oh, you guys need 1 yard? Nah, that's not happening. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I had that down too. Like,
oh, did you?
It did, and then it happened again in the second half when Colorado needed to get a first down in their own territory, and nope, just run in the middle, not a chance. Like untouched. I think was it MJ Sherman maybe, or I can't remember who it was.
It was Sherman.
And just untouched 2-yard loss. Oh, it was great.
Oh, you guys are in the red zone and you want to go for it? Yeah. No, you're not getting
Their run game is like that the first game, though, too. It's got to be one of the worst in the nation. They don't run at all.
Well, that's because they don't run it. I mean,
they don't even try.
Yeah.
Well, and I did see some comments by Colorado players on why they don't, and I mean, a lot of it just did allude to what they have up front. I mean, we know that feeling. A couple of years ago, we know exactly what that felt like, and how hard it was to do anything on offense when you don't have an offensive line. And then last year, we learned what it was like without a quarterback.
Yeah, our defense, run the turnover battle, blocked field goal, interception, pick 6, which that was just a dumb pass play. I don't know why they threw that.
Yeah, take us down the turnovers, because this is another big headline. This is another big storyline.
I mean, we had the fumble recovery, interception, blocked field goal. Those are the only turnover. And blocked field goal is not really a turnover, right? Those are the only 3. We had 2. Yeah, that's it. The fumble came late in the game, but it was deep. Was that our end zone or their end zone? It was their end zone, wasn't it?
We got the ball back, didn't we? We didn't lose it, did we?
No, we got the ball. I'm just trying to remember if it was on our side or their side. It was within at the 5-yard line. I just don't remember which way we were going at the time. But yeah, the pick 6 by Tommy Hill, that's really what we go down, or we have a really rough first drive. It's like, oh no, this isn't great. We absolutely stomped them on defense, come out, and then we pick them off after the freaking Bushini bomb. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, save that.
But
the turnovers and the play that was the most exciting, and it's going to be memorable for a long time, was Tommy Hill's pick 6. And you can say what you want about Shador. I mean, having a dumb pass, and I don't know what he saw or what he did. But guys, Shador Sanders does not throw interceptions. Look at his stats from last year. He is a smart NFL caliber quarterback, and he doesn't do that. So Tommy Rule mentioned it. He played his technique, and I'm gonna say it. The fans deep in the end zone, that plays an impact. That is huge. This is a good stat here. First time since we've had a pick 6 since when?
I heard it. 2011, right?
No way.
2019.
2019.
Been 5 years since Cam Taylor-Britt had a pick 6 against Iowa, and then we had a defensive fumble scoop and score in 2020, COVID year, Deontay Williams. So, I mean, we talked about the importance of our defense, I guess, getting turnovers to help field position, but when you can score points and steal 7, like
week in
that
a row, our defense has scored points.
early in the game,
Hmm.
in a big game, I mean that's ginormous. That was just like, whoa, this could go really, really well.
I mean,
So
that put us up 14-0.
huge.
That put them on their heel. Like already, like you guys are down 14-0 halfway through the first quarter. Like you guys got like that puts them on their heels. Like we got to figure this out now because this could one more score and this is out of control.
Mm-hmm. And the blocked field goal. I mean, we don't do that often.
Not apparently we do now. I mean, we did it several times last year.
That was the it's another huge play, momentum swinging play. Yeah, those things are the type of things that we talked about our defense taking the step from last year up a notch. And they did it. And I don't know. Maybe we have not played two good football teams. UTEP lost to Southern Utah, I believe, yesterday. So maybe UTEP is really, really bad. And Colorado could go 3-9, 4-8 to finish the year. But regardless of that, and not saying that, like we're doing the things we need to do against these teams. And that puts us in the top 25 where the voters think we should be.
I mean, we killed them the first half. We broke them. We broke them in the first half. Like, it's 28-0, and we just marched down and scored with, I don't remember how many, like 35 seconds left in the half.
Second week in a row we did that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's like,
that pick six that Tommy Eli had to feel a lot better too after it comes out after the game, the shit talking that Travis Hunter was doing with him.
Said some words came out before. Dak, first half, I mean, since apparently right after the last touchdown, you don't remember a thing after that.
A little bit, not much.
What what other thoughts do you have about the first half?
I just thought, like you said, I thought you rattled Shador. You got him. That's the worst I saw him look. Like you said, he's a smart passer. He was throwing balls that like that pick six. He never throws that ball at all. He either waits and gets sacked, or like he'd rather get sacked than throw a ball like that. But other than that, I thought your defense dominated that whole first half. Your offense did what it needed to do, basically.
That's a good way to put it.
Guys, our offense in the first half, we ran the ball down their throat.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we run it more. It was like 8 yards of carry. It's like, why are we not handing this
offensive line? Our offensive line has not made holes like that.
Oh.
And I'm saying this because, okay, I have not watched, I don't know the last time I watched a home game on TV. I watched a lot of the road games, but just watching it on TV, like you could see massive holes.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
It was literally like 8 yards before a guy got touched.
And I don't know if that was Colorado's secondary and linebacker going to be playing off a little bit because they were worried about the pass and our receivers. But if that's the case, that's even more power to the guys we brought in and to Raiola and these transfer portal receivers. Like, that's the goal of that, right? You want teams to be afraid of that threat, even if it hasn't been done yet. And that opens up the run game. And then guess what? When you run it, it opens up the pass game. Did we have to really use the pass game last night?
No.
Not really. Like, second half, run game didn't look as good, but guess what? Colorado probably knew we were going to run the ball because we were ahead by 4 touchdowns.
Right. And when we had good run plays, that got called back for holding calls.
Okay. So, let's move to the second half because Dak's not going to have any insight now.
Yep, I'm out. I'll see you boys later.
The second half went. It's 28-0 at halftime. The final score finish is 28-10. And there was talk about post-game press conference about the second half, how it went. That's been some conversation I've heard amongst people I've talked to. Like, Austin, what do you make of the second half?
I will say, watching the game, I'm not upset because obviously when you're playing with the big lead, you play differently. The defense knew we were running it, so they're going to stuff it more. The reffing wasn't great. I'm not going to say that it was like unfavorable, but they were getting pretty ticky-tacky with the calls, I thought. So just as far as an enjoyment, like I was on cloud nine after the first half, but by the end of the game, I was like, oh my gosh, can this game just be over? Like we won this game like 3 hours ago, and we are just trying to grind to the end here. Like Shadur literally left the field. Like, let's just go. Why are we calling
Okay,
penalties?
so I was
Yeah.
going to ask you this too.
What do you guys think about that?
At what point we're going to get to that? At what point, Austin, do you think the game was over? Like, did we think we won? Because
I thought after half, straight up. And then there was a brief moment where I got a little concerned when they blocked the punt and they scored the touchdown. I was like, okay, like one more score and this might be a little bit of a game, but
28-0 was
I thought we
good. But I know how like all of the scar tissue that sits around. It took me so long to get my head to like we won this game. And
okay, yes, that's a different question of when was my head? Did we when we won this game? It was probably with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
okay, that's what like I just did not. This whole second half was going, and I didn't. Some people were like, "Well, we didn't play well. We didn't look dynamic on offense. We didn't, move the ball down the field." I'm like, I didn't want to. Like, I wanted that clock to run.
And every penalty, it's like, great, we get 35 more seconds to run off the.
And the penalties were, I agree, made the second half very long, but I just wanted to win the game. And Colorado knew we were going to run the ball, and we still did it most of the time, and brought down our yards per carry average. I didn't care. Like, ugly it up, and yeah, we didn't score, but we didn't turn the ball over. Like, we don't beat ourselves, we don't lose that game when you're up 4 touchdowns going in the second half. I remembered when we went out there in Boulder in 2017, 2018,
Yep.
And we were
18.
down. We were up 17-0 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
We lost. Now 28-0 is obviously different than 17-0, but I just couldn't get myself to like believe that we're actually going to win the game until the end. So I wondered, the second half, because I did hear like we didn't look great, kind of looked sloppy. The penalties, I agree with some of the penalties were what the heck, but then with the penalties, I was like, maybe the refs were like, okay, Nebraska's got this one, like it's not going to hurt us if we throw a couple of penalties on them because they're ahead by a lot. Like, when you're ahead a lot in the game, you don't get
that
calls.
way. It doesn't look like you favored one team. You go to the end.
They're not going to complain as much. But Rule was riding them. I mean, he was grinding. He wanted, he didn't feel safe until we won.
And you could tell that in his press conference. He was like, I'm just so happy we won. Like, he's like, this is the perfect game. We did so many things wrong. I can still coach them, but we won.
Because go ahead, Dak.
So were they awful calls or were they like just ticky tack?
There was a lot of right calls, and there was a good chunk of ticky tack calls on both sides. Colorado and Nebraska.
It just got sloppy, and it did.
Yeah.
Which it is what it is. I think, and this is classic Nebraska fan talk, our mindset went from, man, that first half, like enjoyed it so much, to, and I'm not saying you were there, Austin, but like second half, everyone's like, oh, we didn't play well. Oh man, like what were we doing in the second half? Why did we look so bad? I'm not saying you were, but some people had that thought and opinion, and I think the media wanted to push that out in the post game too. And I'm like, guys, like, what are we doing? That's why I said let's enjoy this. Like, look what we did in the first half, and like this is coming from the pessimistic fan. Like, I win the game. Why are we moving on so quick from a 28-0 halftime score to now? Oh God, we can't get a run more than 2 yards. Well, yeah, no shit.
They're stacking the box.
They're stacking the box, and we just want the clock to run. Like I was back to run it and punt it mode from last year. Run it and punt it. Run it and punt it.
You've got to be happy at any win you get now. You can't be.
I will say, like, talking about burning the clock in the second half, Dylan Raiola, I know he only missed 7 passes out of the 30 he threw. Still pretty good. And there were a couple drop passes. But when he was in a situation where it's like, oh no, he's going to take a loss here. And if he needed the clock to run, he would somehow get to the line of scrimmage and just, like, he would go down. Or if he didn't care if the clock ran, he was able to throw it away. Like, it was it was honestly incredible. Every time I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be sacked. And somehow he's like, nope, I'm going to get 2 extra yards to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Keep talking to me some Dylan Raiola. I just want to keep hearing it because this.
He was so good.
Oh yeah, that keep it coming. I want to keep hearing the love.
Next question.
I completely agree, Austin. Like his ability to
mitigate disaster.
I'm going to call it twerk, but twist and move his body on some of his throws when there's defenders around, when he's in the pocket, when pressure's coming from this angle. It's his footwork is something we haven't seen. And yeah, you can look at the end result and the stats and the throws and the completions and not completions. He, through 2 games, he gets the intangible, the little things that you want out of a quarterback. And some of his throws, like watching him, you might watch and say, oh, I don't know, was that a good or a bad throw? I'm not sure. Like part of me is like this
out on that pass to Ramir in the middle. That's like, that probably should have been picked off.
That one, that touchdown, like, cards fell our way. But there's also some other ones that were a couple of his other incompletions that was like, okay, he put that ball where if our receiver
caught that one.
If our receiver can make a miraculous catch, like great. But other than that, it's not getting caught by anybody. So I think he's very intelligent with that. And yeah, the tuck and run on our first drive, like that was huge. And I'll say it because this is going to get said a billion times after every game. The Mahomes celebration gets up and I mean, it is
honestly, and also one of the other things I loved, I don't know if you saw this when you were watching it, but there's one reverse that we did, and one of the Colorado defenders swung around the outside, and he straight up just dropped his shoulder all the way down to the guy and dropped him from who was pursuing from behind. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is exactly, you don't want your quarterback to get hurt, but it was excellent.
And he'll learn to slide better, I think. I mean,
yeah, his slide was
a little rough.
I loved Colorado's backup quarterback slides because they weren't slides. He just dove head first each time, and it cracked me up.
Yeah.
I was like, does that count as a slide? I don't think it does.
The main thing with Raiola is he hasn't, like you said, made mistakes. He hasn't thrown a pick yet. He's a true freshman, which is pretty unheard of. They're usually in a big game like that, true freshmen, they sometimes
a Heisman cornerback candidate. Yeah.
And I think it could still come, but
it will.
The good, he's not going to go the whole year without an interception, but I agree. And when the media tried to hype him up to Rule was like, I don't really know. All I know is he didn't turn it over. Like that was his response. Like you can tell that's where the emphasis and focus is. And that is awesome. That is where we need to be. It makes me feel a lot better that's the mindset that Rule has, that the staff has, and honestly, what Dylan has as a freshman quarterback and leading us to a win that we needed to just get a win. And that's it. Don't need to put any extra icing on the cake. Running backs, I mentioned that real quick. It looks like Dowdell's, and then Ramir's going to. We played Ramir like. I think he could be used in a really good role. Is that passing down back?
8 receptions.
8 receptions. Yeah, 49 yards, and then obviously that touchdown. Had a couple of good runs, and then Dowdell's. He's good. I mean, he could be legit.
He lays the wood when he hits through that hole.
Dak, I think I called you out on this last time. I think he is. He's quick and explosive. I mean, he's not as big of a back as what I initially kind of thought. I'm not going to say he's faster than like Ramir. He's not faster than Ja'Cory Barney. I'm not a running back, but man, that guy is. He's good. He's going to be fun to watch here.
What is he, a sophomore?
Yes.
Okay, so you got him couple out. Yeah, so did he break Shiloh's arm then?
Ja'Cory's not a sophomore. He's a freshman.
No, not Ja'Cory. I thought you were talking about Dowdell.
I was talking about Dowdell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, when he lowered that hit on Shiloh, did he actually break his arm?
Yeah, Shiloh actually broke his arm.
Yeah, that was a hell of a. He put him on his ass.
Okay, yeah. So Shiloh is out with a broken forearm. Shadur goes down and gets hit, targeting, kind of walks off, hobbles off. They review the targeting. He calls for the trainer, ends up going back in the game,
Gets walled the next turn.
gets hit again or whatever,
Right.
then doesn't finish the game out. At the time, I didn't know that, quote unquote, he was hurt, but they throw in the backup. I thought they were just waving the white flag, which I guess they kind of did. And then Shadur proceeds to go to the locker room, so he's not out there for the handshake. Then I find it funny. I don't know the intent behind Rule in the comments of about them, saying I hope they're okay. Like, I'm not saying he was being sarcastic with it all or humorous, but at the same time, like it came across like, no, I want to show my respect for those two and hope they're okay. I don't know, and maybe Shadur's actually
behind locker room doors. It might be like, screw you guys, we got you guys off the field. You couldn't.
I don't know.
Play with
Maybe
us.
and maybe Shadur's hurt. We shouldn't say that for in case he's actually concussed. But at the same time, like I don't think he is. Like he was just done. He was exhausted.
Yeah.
He just said, "Get me off of this field, so I don't have to stay here for everything that happens after."
I honestly don't blame him for that part about leaving the field because they're more. I think they're worried about students rushing the field and stuff like that. I don't blame him for leaving. Like, I mean, it's kind of a pussy move, but.
Did you guys see the picture of the field goal post security guards?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, no one. It wasn't really. It was a field rush, but it was definitely more of like the students that were like, if we win this game, I'm gonna rush the field, and then we won the game. But it's like, yeah, okay, these are just drunk college kids. It's not even like it wasn't packed. It wasn't like the stadium was going nuts. It was like, it's like these are the drunk kids who planned on rushing the game no matter how it turned out.
The word I liked was meander that I heard.
Yeah.
They just kind of meandered out there, just hung out.
Yeah.
I do think if we win that game on a last drive or get a huge stop at the end,
a real storm. Yes, I agree.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't storm the field unless if they're ranked and they're a rival, and you're unranked. Or I mean,
so you have the and in there. I'm also a little bit like, again, enjoy it, like winning a big game, but at the same time,
it's not that big of a game.
Not for storming, and I just hate what happens after you storm a field or a court. It's an automatic don't play well next. It is. I don't know if that's a proven statistic, but like I feel like it is every time. I feel like it happens. So, yeah, I do. I agree. It was enough to say, okay, this was an awesome win, but yet it was really just the college kids and hanging out with the players. Cool.
I know we're running lower on time. I want to mention Barney. Wow, you're right. He is going to be so fun to watch. He is so freaking fast, and he was way more used this game than last game. And then we got to talk special teams, Hunter. The Bushini Bombs are back. Get your Bushini jerseys now.
Huge. Did have the one blocked, but
it's not necessarily his fault.
Keep doing it. Like, I don't want to jinx him. It's like hitting a bunch of good golf shots in a row, and you start thinking about, nope, I don't want to. Just keep doing it. Keep doing your job and exceeding at it, and keep putting them at the 2-yard line. Like, that was great.
And Alvano's not kicking field goals next week. I'm calling it right now.
You're right.
That was bad. Can't do that twice, 2 games in a row.
Nope. And you could tell
he's definitely lost his job.
Rule was not a happy camper.
I mean, on the sideline, he was so happy the whole first half. The only time he looked over at the sideline was when he was yelling at the refs and he was upset, or when he missed that field goal and he is just, he's got that like I'm so freaking pissed right now.
That's one part of the game that's got scary. If you want to trust your kicker to win you a football game, there's gonna be a couple games probably comes down to your kicker's foot.
Rule
and you guys definitely don't trust it.
Rule knows what you just said, I think, and that those we were in a close game again, but those are the plays that the blocked punt and the missed field goal. Those are the types of plays that can come back and bite you in close games. As we know, it's not like we're unfamiliar to that. So while it didn't hurt us and we scathed away with it, now you can't overlook it. You cannot do it. Last question for you guys. Does this win change your expectations for the year? We go back and we change our thoughts, our expectations. We talk about that a lot on this podcast every year. Dak, start with you. Does this change the expectations for Nebraska football for 2024?
Oh no, I'd probably stick. I thought you were going to win your first 7 before Ohio State. Still do. I'm more confident in that now. Other than that, no, it really doesn't. I thought you were going to win your first 7, and I still do. And after that, maybe you can beat USC now. I don't know.
I expect us to be a 7-8 win team, and I still think we're in position to be 7-8 win. We're not beating Ohio State and USC. Iowa, I don't know. Maybe Iowa's not as good as we thought, but I still think we're a 7-8 win team. Maybe 9, but
yeah, that had to make you guys happy before that Husker game.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I don't know where my new expectations are at, but the answer to that question for me is yes. The first half in itself, how impressive it went, I have a different outlook on this team. I don't know where it's at yet, though, for me.
You're also the most pessimistic of the bunch.
Correct. So my expectations might have been lower, but after how that first half went and then how we proceeded to just manage and win the game, like I feel very confident that we might not slip up to, not, I shouldn't say very confident, but more confident that we might not slip up until Ohio State.
Right. And then Rutgers doesn't look as good, and Iowa.
I don't think the
Wisconsin looks like ass.
Yeah, like these other games, like Wisconsin, Iowa, we are with them every year. Like should or could beat them. UCLA, like I'm not saying 10-2, but at the same time, the expectation or the chances of that happening are a lot higher after this week. So my expectation to me, yeah, it's changed. I can't say where it's changed. Maybe I'll let you know on Wednesday what I think, but it's moved.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the party. This is where Dak and I were. I'm glad you could join us.
I joined it. I made it. Just easy to start 2-0 one time.
We've been waiting.
All right. We'll be back. Preview Northern Iowa on Wednesday. Go Big Red.
PBR.
Boomer Sooner.
They only won 16-12.
Oh, no. We got to go.